I want to talk to you about an emergency, a business loan with no social security number from alternative lenders. And if you are looking for an emergency business loan, sometimes they ask you for an EIN, sometimes they ask you for social security, and especially alternative lenders are pretty flexible. So here's a review I want you to pay attention to. So the first alternative lender that you want to consider if you are looking for an emergency business loan, no social security number, is actually Bluevine. And Bluevine is great for emergency business line of credit, but they also have business loans, especially if you have an account with them, if you have a banking account with them. So that's really good. So if you're interested in really using Bluevine for your business credit purposes, it's better to have a bank account with them. And so we love the fact that they actually will, they will actually work with you to kind of see the account that works for you. That's really fantastic. In terms of business loan itself, they will actually lend you up to $250,000. So that's loan amounts that go up to $250,000, and the starting interest rate 6% for the first 6 months, and term length you have 6 or 12 months. So that's really cool. Number two, you have On Deck. So On Deck is an alternative lender that will give you an emergency business loan, no social security number, especially if you are a repeat customer of theirs. And loan amounts actually go from $5,000 to $250,000. But the problem with On Deck is that the APR is pretty high. So we are looking at a maximum of 35%. And so minimum time in business for On Deck, they want you to be in business for 12 months before you can actually do business with them. You can apply. So we are talking about a company that's very sort of flexible in terms of business loan for emergencies, but they want you to be in business and to have a solid base. And we love the fact that OnTem is actually focused on short-term business loans for emergency, which means there is a quick repayment timeline. And so if you're looking for a lengthier payment plan, you want to look for other players. And they do not disclose the minimum interest rate, so it can be really harder to tell how much you will pay for the privilege of borrowing here. Boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. Make yourself comfortable. You are going to enjoy today's conversation. No social security number from alternative lenders is Fundbox. And Fundbox is a pretty flexible alternative lender, and they actually will offer up to $150,000. And the starting interest rate for emergency business loans, we are looking at 4.66% for 12-week terms and 8.99% for 24-week terms. So you have it right there. So the term length is either 12 or 24 weeks. And we love the fact that they want you to be, they are kind of flexible in terms of a minimum time in business. They will accept you if you have been in business for 3 to 6 months. And so that's really good. And what we love about this company is that when it comes to Fundbox, you have a very competitive interest rates, even though they do have a low funding cap, so $150,000. Okay, that's really cool for emergency business loans. No social security number from alternative lenders. Another lender I want to share with you is a Funding Circle. So this is actually the best emergency business loan for established businesses, and loan amounts here for emergency, where you are looking at $25,000 all the way to $500,000. And the starting interest rate for this emergency business loan, no social security number, is actually 11.29%. And the term length, 6 months all the way to 84 months. So 84 months, that's 7 years. That's really good. That gives you a lot of years to actually plan your cash flow so that you can repay the loan. And so you have longer loan terms for emergencies, higher funding cap, okay, $500,000. And you have a lender who provides a dedicated account manager. Now, the only thing we don't like about the Funding Circle is that they do charge an origination fee. They offer a 2-day funding window. That's important. And they also require collateral and a personal guarantee in some cases. So this is kind of interesting to think about, especially if you are looking for an emergency business loan. You will love the flexibility that comes with a Funding Circle sort of emergency business loan. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about the best emergency business loans, no social security number. I want to talk to you now about Fora Financial. Fora Financial is another great player when it comes to emergency business loans, no social security number. And so the starting interest rate actually goes from 1.10 to a 1.40 factor rate. And the term length, you are looking at 4 to 15 months. And this is kind of cool. But they want you to be in business for 6 months minimum before qualifying for an emergency business loan, no social security number from this player, Fora Financial. So you have a short time in business requirements and high funding cap. Again, $1.5 million. So you're looking at loan amounts that go from 5,000 all the way to $1.5 million. And they do charge an origination fee, something to know about. So that's important. And one thing I want to say here is that when we talk about Fora Financial, we are talking about flexibility a lot. And Fora is really, really well known for flexibility. And now their fee in terms of origination fee is really on the heftier side, something to know about. They charge an origination fee of $300 or 2.5% of the loan amount, whichever is higher. And then you have another player here that's Headway Capital. So we love Headway Capital. And Headway Capital actually is great for emergency business lines of credit with no social security number. And so they offer a fast and flexible line of credit for borrowers who may not qualify for more traditional options. And so you have a flexible qualification requirements for their emergency business loan. There are no prepayment penalties, and the funds are available by next business day after approval. So that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool in terms of fast turnaround and when it comes to the release of the funds. Now, it's important to really mention that with Headway Capital, most borrowers are subject to a 2% draw fee. So anytime you draw this emergency business line of credit, you have to pay a 2% fee. And this service, Headway Capital, is not available in all 50 states. So you first want to call the company to have a clear idea about their availability and whether they are present in your state or not. And the one thing I need to add before closing this session is that they require a minimum time in business of 6 months and a minimum annual revenue of $50,000 for you to really to qualify you for the emergency business loan, no social security number from this player. So Headway Capital, great lender. Another lender I want to share with you is National Funding. When it comes to emergency business loan, no social security number, we love National Funding because National Funding is pretty flexible here. And you are looking at $150,000 and borrower. So if you don't qualify for more traditional loan options, you might consider National Funding for fast access to capital. So you have a funding that's available in as little as 24 hours, prepayment discounts available. And you have this lender actually offers loans to startups and borrowers with bad credit. So we love that a lot. And there is no collateral or down payment required. But they do charge a factor rate that makes it more difficult to compare costs with other lenders. And they require a higher annual revenue than other online lenders. So they want you to be in business for 6 months at least, and minimum annual revenue for emergency business loan, no social security number, $250,000. Another lender I want to share with you here is Credibly. So Credibly is a wonderful alternative lender, and that's really good for small to mid-sized businesses in our view. So you are looking at $5,000 to $400,000. And so Credibly actually is an online lending platform that supports both small and medium-sized businesses. So if you're looking for an emergency business loan, you will love this lender. And this lender offers a wide variety of same-day business loans, including working capital loans, emergency lines of credit, merchant cash advances, and also long-term loans. So while terms range depending on the specific loan type, business owners can access financing between $5,000 and $400,000, even for emergencies. Okay. And this is kind of cool. And each loan through Credibly offers a same-day funding, helping business owners actually receive their funds a lot quickly. So this is really good. So when you think about Credibly, I want you to think about a wide variety of loan products. I want you to think about fast funding times. And the only thing you have to be aware of is that Credibly wants you to, they actually require daily or weekly payments. So something to be aware of. And but overall, fantastic player. Boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about emergency a business loan, no social security number from alternative lenders. Next, I want to share with you another player that we love a lot, Balboa Capital. And when you think about Balboa Capital, I want you to think about flexibility, that's for sure. But Balboa actually has a series of emergency business loans, no social security number from this alternative lender. And so the loan actually ranges from $5,000 to $250,000. And this is really good. And in terms of the requirements for this loan, this emergency business loan, you have like business funding that's really done quickly. So you are able to compare various options, apply in minutes, and if approved, you can receive your funds as soon as the same day as approval. And you can apply for a variety of business financing, including small business loans and equipment financing. And small business loans actually range from $5,000 all the way to $250,000, while equipment financing tops out at $500,000. So if you're looking for an emergency business loan, no social security number, you got to really ask yourself what you are going to use the cash for. So that's how fast you can receive the money. And commercial, vendor, and franchise financing is also available with terms of $350,000 or $500,000, depending on the specific financing and collateral that you have. So let's go through the pros and cons of this offer here. So the pros with Balboa Capital, you have loans from $5,000 to $250,000. You have an online application with quick funding. That's really cool. And you may qualify with just a year in business. So that's just fantastic. Now, there are some cases where for you to qualify for an emergency business loan, no social security number, you might need to provide a proof of annual revenue, and they might have annual revenue that goes as high as $300,000. Okay, and so it is what it is. So it's in some cases you may be able to apply and get funding within the same day, although they are changing their policies on that front. So it is what it is. Let me give you the overview here. When we talk about emergency business loan, no social security number from alternative lenders, it's important to understand that when we talk about emergency business loan, we are talking about all kinds of loans. But it can be a regular loan, an emergency business line of credit. It can be equipment financing. It can be anything. But the whole idea is to get your cash real fast, right? Now, many of the loans that I just gave you today are offered by online lenders, also called alternative lenders in some cases, who tend to have shorter funding timelines than more traditional financial institutions. And this is important. So when we talk about types of emergency business loans, you have business term loans, for instance. You have business line of credit. You have invoice factoring. You have equipment financing, but you also have merchant cash advances. Let me break it down for you. So when we talk about business term loans, that you know about already, but you also know about business line of credit. But what about invoice factoring? So invoice factoring really allows you to sell your unpaid invoices to a third-party company in exchange for an advance payment on the amount due. So when the invoice is paid in its entirety, the invoice factoring company will send you the remainder of your payment minus any transaction fees. And you can also have an emergency business loan as a merchant cash advance. So an MCA, a merchant cash advance, allows you to take a lump sum advance payments against future sales. So typically the payment represents a portion of your daily or weekly credit card sales. And basically also, it's important to know that while this method can be a way to access fast funding, it can be an expensive form of borrowing in our view. Now, if you want to get if you want to get an emergency business loan a lot faster, you need to figure out how much you will need, determine your eligibility, gather the necessary documentation, shop around for a loan, and then apply for a loan. But all of this have to be sort of tied to your niche and your company in the first place, right? So you want to look at the requirements. So the requirements in terms of tenure in business, requirements in terms of revenue requirements, requirements in terms of ownership, because some lenders wants to have the same owner. That creates a lot of stability in the long run. So that's an important element to keep in mind as you apply for an emergency business loan. No social security number. Really important to understand that there are alternatives to our emergency business loans. If for any reason you don't qualify for an emergency business loan, you can always actually apply for another type of funding. Okay, but before I talk to you about the alternatives to emergency business loans, let's quickly go through the pros and cons of emergency business loans, because there are pros and there are cons. So the pros first, there are advantages in terms of funding. You have multiple types of business loans that can be used to provide emergency funding. Many lenders offer same day or next day funding options, and an SBA loan option is available for those who are in federally declared disaster areas. What about the drawbacks here? Well, interest rates can be as high as 30% or 36% with some lenders. Collateral may be required for a secured business loan, and some lenders may have eligibility requirements that make funding inaccessible for startups. So if you're a startup and you're looking for an emergency business loan, you may not actually have it. Now, there are actually alternatives, as I said before. You have business credit cards, because now the thing is, business credit cards don't give you the same amount of cash that you can tap into if you were just to apply for a loan, right? If you need cash immediately, using a business credit card to cover your expenses may be an option. And eligibility criteria tend to be less stringent for cards than traditional business financing, especially in an emergency. And plus, it's possible to earn perks like business travel rewards, depending on which card you choose. And you have personal loans. You can also try family and friends. Okay, and it's important. And so you can also try business crowdfunding platforms. Those can assist with this venture. Okay. And so personal loans also. Now, personal loans actually may not give you the large amounts that you want, because personal loans are usually capped at $50,000. So it's one of those things that can be a little problematic. So if you're looking for, let's say, you're looking for $250,000 in terms of business funding, and you apply for you want to use a personal loan to fund at least partially the business venture, it could be problematic because you are going to be limited. And personal loans have a different eligibility criteria that are based largely on your credit score and debt to income ratio. So that could be a problem if your DTI, your debt to income ratio, is a little on the low end. This could be something that might be problematic in your case. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. Let's quickly recap to this conversation. So I was talking to you about emergency business loans, no social security number from alternative lenders. And so number 1, Bluevine. Number 2, On Deck. Number 3, Fundbox. Number 4, Funding Circle. Number 5, Far Financial. Number 6, Headway Capital. Number 7, National Funding. Number 8, Credibly. Number 9, Balboa Capital. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.